Hi, Christine.
Hi, yep.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. You came up as Nathan Handy. I'm all, okay.
Yeah, I can change my name.
No problem. No problem. Well, you ready for 650B?
I'm feeling a little overwhelmed with this and the seminar one at the same time.
Yeah, it is a bit challenging, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Yep, this is the toughest one for sure.
yeah.
So, well, anyway, let's get started. I'm going to share my screen because I'm going to kind of go into the course right now and just
Okay,
show you a couple of things. Okay,
okay.
so let's do this. So, have you started the seminar now?
Yes,
Okay. All right, you can see all this, right?
yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay, this is you right here. Let's double check. Yep, okay. All right. Yeah, this will be a little, I mean, everyone gets through it, but it will challenge your time management.
Yeah.
Okay. So the one thing that I do want to say with you is I'll do everything I can to get you through this course, and I always do.
Okay.
So as things come up on your end, if you need a little bit extra time, just let me know
Okay.
and we'll work through it all. Okay.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem at all. No problem at all. So anyway, couple of things. I mean, it's the same as 650A with a few little tweaks at the end.
Okay.
Okay. You're going to be doing the same observation, your typical week, month one, like this is month one. You're going to have your lesson plan that you turn in. Okay. We'll
And is
talk
that
about,
that's due this week, right?
yeah.
Okay.
And then you have your observation video. Now that's going to get a little trickier. I sent out a text on that about an hour ago. I don't know if you got that.
I did. I haven't looked at it closely yet.
Okay, we'll talk about that. And then you got your running record, and then obviously you have your ISV hours. Okay, and everything is the same except when you get to month four, there's no lesson plan and there's no video.
Okay.
There's what we call an individual development plan. Okay, so that's
Okay.
actually it's actually I think it's easier, and we'll discuss that on the next PLC meeting.
Okay.
So don't worry about it now. Okay,
Okay.
and then you're going to do a reflection video just like you did before at the
Okay.
end of the class. So this will be the only thing, but don't worry about it now. Okay,
Yep.
so let's just kind of go over a little bit here. Okay, so you are taking seminar class, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is for you for your next observation video, okay, which will be after your lesson plan. Um, if you are currently taking seminar 651A, is that what you're doing?
Yeah. I think.
Probably. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that's what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I am.
Okay, then you are going to use lesson plan template A,
Okay.
and I'll go to that real quick.
It's
You
probably
are,
not the same as the one I'm doing for seminar because that one's a lot of pages, it sounds like.
well, they are trying to line them up.
Okay.
Okay, so that's one big reason here. So that would be this one because they do want to kind of make it a little cohesive for you.
Okay.
So I don't know what your lesson plan template is for seminar. Take a second to load this up. But even if it is different, you could you could simply copy and paste
Okay.
if you had to.
All right.
But I think the idea is going to be the same. So let's check it out. Okay. Ah, okay. Okay. So this is 650A. Oops. Nope. Wrong one. Okay. Glad I did that.
You know, that's the right one, isn't it? Currently enrolled in seminar 651A. Oh, no. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is. It is. Okay. Yep. Right there. Okay. So they are going back to this one, which should match up with your 651A.
Okay.
Okay. But basically, it's the same thing you've been doing.
Okay.
Okay. So no changes on that. just want to make sure that when you go through this, and I know I've talked a lot about this, but make sure you have the rubric right next to you as you're writing.
All right.
So you go down here and make sure each one of these is in your lesson plan.
Okay.
Because that's how we're supposed to grade these. I'm going to make sure that you have at least these things in here.
Okay.
And then content of the lesson, make sure every one of these is described.
Okay.
Okay. They allow a little flexibility. I think they'll allow you to miss one and still get full credit. But if you miss two,
Okay.
you get doctor point. And then the same for assessment, checking for understanding. One thing they want in here is they want, how are you going to, when you assess, okay, how are you going to measure the assessment? Is there going to be a percentage that they must reach on your lesson plan?
Okay.
They like to see that in there.
All right.
Demonstrate criteria used at the end of the lesson plan if determined if students met or exceeded the lesson. So some sort of criterion in here.
Okay.
So try to avoid the very general holistic thing. You know, what you want to look for is, you know, if you're going to give a quiz or a test or something, do they have to have a certain score to pass?
Right.
That's what they're looking for.
Okay.
Okay. And I know when you're in seminar, I think they really like bullet pointed things. I know that the graders like that a lot. So I would encourage you to, when you're going through these, avoid paragraph descriptions and just have
Okay.
bullet points.
Okay.
Bullet point description, bullet point description. Okay.
Okay.
And then as you go through here, it's pretty much the same. Okay. So as long as all these are in your lesson plan, okay, you're going to get full credit. So don't skip any of these at all. That's the goal.
Okay.
And that's pretty much how I'm going to grade. So what I do, as you've seen before, I just copy this rubric, I paste it into the comments, and if you met an area, I highlight it in green. If you didn't meet the area, I highlight it in red.
Okay.
Okay. Now the one thing that is going to be a little bit different. So that's the lesson plans, and you're going to use these for the. Go back to here. Okay. For 5 and 6. Now, when you get to 7, okay, you're going to use lesson plan template B for 20 points.
Okay. And this is 5, 6, and 7 because it's continuing from the last class.
Yes.
Okay. So we're on 5 now.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. You're on 5. So 5 and 6, you're going to use this template that we just went over, and then for number 7, you're going to switch over to this one, and it's the
Okay.
20 point. And it just has a little more involvement at the end, more of a reflection at the end. This should be it. Fire up here. Okay. Well, and I'll show you what the difference is at the end. Okay, go to the rubric. Reflection on planning. So this is a little additional area that you'll add to your lesson plan. This is the rubric here. So you'll cover these areas here.
Okay.
That's why they changed the score.
Okay.
Other than that, it's all, I think this is different too. I don't think this is on the first 2 that you're going to do. So it's these 2 sections here are additions to your lesson plan.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So that's that. Do you have any questions so far?
No, well, no. I guess my concern is it should be fine, I think, but the last month, I think, of school is health and sex ed. It's not my typical science content anymore. Can I still use that for?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't matter to me what you're teaching.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah. Teaching is teaching, you know, I mean, the content may change, but teaching is still teaching.
Okay.
Yeah, no problems on that. Now, one thing that they are telling me to get a real strict on, and I haven't been so far, but have to be, is when you do your video observation and you do your annotations. Okay, that's what I sent out the thing today. There is this observation video checklist. Okay. So each video submitted for formal observation should include all the elements below. Timestamp annotations should be included and go react. Okay. So this is and you're going to describe your instructional decisions and why.
Okay.
General heading. So what you want to do is you want to make sure all these 11 things are in your annotations.
Okay.
So first of all, establish a safe and positive learning environment at the beginning of the lesson with an annotation to describe how this was achieved. Okay, how do you get your class on task and get them all structured and listening? Right.
Okay.
So that's pretty straightforward, right? And how are you achieving this? And the beauty of this with you writing in here, I mean, I'm watching from a video and but it's hard for me to really get into your eyes about what's going on. And this really helps.
Okay.
I can see you in the class, I can see your class, but when you describe what you're doing to create this in an annotation, then it really connects for me.
Okay.
Okay. And then explains connection to prior learning. I mean, all this you've done, they just want it in this order now.
Okay.
Okay. Write an annotation that clearly describes the connection to prior learning. Okay. And so on and so forth. I don't need to go through all these. You kind of get the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to make sure all 11 of these are in your annotations.
Okay.
And that's all I need.
Where do I access this list?
This list, there's a couple ways to find it because I went through pretending I was you to kind of get through to this. The easiest way is when you go over into the course and you go to student resources, then you go to candidate resources. Now it doesn't list that in here, okay, at all. But I know I can get there simply by going into the lesson plan template.
Okay.
That takes me to the library. Lesson plan templates. Okay, it takes me to this library, which has your lesson plan templates plus all the handbooks. But if you go down here, there's the rubrics, observation video checklist.
Okay.
And I text you guys a picture of this, but that's how you get to it.
Okay.
And then you click on it.
Okay.
I clicked on this one, it wouldn't open for me, but this one did. So play with it a little bit. If for some reason you can't access any of those, just let me know.
Okay.
Okay. So pretty straightforward on that. Any questions on that?
Nope.
Okay. So with that said, oh, I hear your doggy.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. No worries. The only other thing I want to discuss in here on our month one, okay, is how you engage, okay. Okay, we've done this. We did number 2. We just went through all these, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Move this thing out of the way. Okay. All right. As time permits, interns will share and discuss their successes and challenges in relation to their current classroom experience. On engaging your students, that's always the biggest challenge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Huge. I mean, that's everything, right?
Uh-huh.
You could have a perfectly quiet class and they're all looking at you and their mind is somewhere else.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I haven't had that problem recently though.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Oh no, they're very chatty. Most of the time they're excited about what we're doing, so it's good, but sometimes it's hard to get them back on track.
So what do you do to make sure they are on track?
We have our school-wide, we put our hands like this and then that gets the whole class their attention and then we can get back on track. I walk around the room. I never sit at my desk.
Perfect.
I'll ask questions. I appreciate conversation, and if I'm hearing them talking about what we're doing in class, then I'm good with what's going on as long as I'm not trying to give instructions.
Now, what do you do to get kids to engage? I mean, how do you how do you prompt that out of them, I guess?
So I guess I came from a uh I forget the right word, informal education background. I used to teach outdoor ed and environmental education, and so I use a lot of hands-on stuff,
Okay.
and I'll demonstrate what we're doing, which usually will get them excited, or I'll find a catchy video, or something, or activate their funds of knowledge, to use the words we've been using, to get them interested in something that they already know about but
Mhm.
want to learn more about.
And how do you know that they are responding?
I almost always start with class discussions, and so if they're answering my questions and we're having a conversation as a class, and I have a jar with names, so I draw names to make sure that I'm hitting everybody in the class and not
I
just the same
love that.
ones.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's a random calling on the kids, huh?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
And they know it's random. They know they could be called on at any time.
they do.
Is it possible for the same kid to be called twice randomly?
Well, I will allow them to volunteer, so if they
Okay,
volunteer and answer, then they could give an answer twice.
okay. Do you ever have kids that never respond at all unless you call on them?
Oh yeah, several. I think I was one of those kids when I was in school.
I think I was too.
Yeah,
So so do you purposely call on those kids?
I do. Yes.
Yeah,
And
I
I'll
think
call on the ones who I know struggle harder to pay attention or struggle to retain the information. I'll call on them to keep them engaged.
see that's what it's all about. Because it's so easy, you're always going to have your 3 or 4 or 5 kids that always respond.
Well, that would be an easy class to teach.
That would be a piece of cake, wouldn't it?
Yes.
And the mistake teachers make is they just, those kids are so fun to talk to. They call on them, and so the conversation is really between the teacher and
Yeah.
like 5 or 6 kids, and the rest of the class is whatever, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. It sounds like you got a really good handle on that, Christy. So I think you're doing really well.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Um, okay. Anyway, now when you let's talk a little bit about second thing, creating and maintaining effective environments for student learning. Um, talk to me a little bit about what you do with that.
I greet my students at the door. I say their name every time they come in the door. I give them a fist bump. Sometimes they ask for a high five or something different.
Okay.
Um, and all but 2 of my students, like, they'll seek out the fist bump if they miss it. 2 of them have a beef with me and they walk past, and I have not been able to figure that out yet. So we start out with a positive greeting, and then they come in, they have a warm up to do right away. Every day it's the same. They look on the screen and they do their warm up.
Love it. Okay.
And then we start, like 2 to 3 days a week. I'll start with, we call it good things, and ask them for something positive. So we set a positive tone for the class period. I I call out positive behavior that I want to see all the time, rather than correcting the negative stuff. I'm telling kids who are doing what they're supposed to be doing that they're doing it right.
Yeah.
And that usually gets the kids around them on track also. And I have them set up in groups, so it's almost always they're almost always doing an activity or lab, and working in groups and having conversation and discussions. That way I have my EL students sprinkled in there, whether they're with another EL student or somebody who can speak Spanish. This year they're all Spanish.
Yeah.
Somebody
Okay.
who can speak Spanish with them.
Okay. No, that's really good.
Okay.
Those are all really positive things, and um, that's that's what I see in great classes is exactly that. Exactly that. Now, when you let's talk about the last thing on there. When you the subject matter, okay, understanding and organizing the subject matter for their learning. Um, you tailor your lessons at all to fit their needs, or are you teaching to a certain curriculum? I guess. Can you
I
be
have a curriculum that I'm supposed to teach, but I have the freedom to
okay?
tailor it how it needs to be.
Okay, that's what I was gonna get. So you don't have to teach to a test or anything, right?
I do not have to, no.
Okay, so
I
you're,
mean, besides the state test at the end of the year, which is the big goal, I guess.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay. All right. So, okay, let me ask you this. Are you teaching the same group of kids that you did in 650A?
Yes,
Okay. So this is a year-long class, correct?
yes. Yep.
Okay. So you're not reteaching any of the lessons that you did earlier,
No.
but next year you'll go through the cycle again.
Yes.
And you may or may make modifications on what you taught, tweak it a little bit, improve maybe where you felt need be an improvement, stuff like that, correct?
Yeah, this is my second year teaching it, actually. I did the same class last year, and it's pretty fun to do it again and make those adjustments.
Now, how do you know or how do you remember what things you want to do adjust?
I make notes. I have Google Slides for my agenda for the whole year. So
Okay.
I've
Okay.
gone through and I add notes on the days I want to fix things.
That was a very leading layup question and you laid it up perfectly. So, 'cause, that's the way, because it's too hard to remember, right? So taking notes
Yeah.
during the lesson is going to help retain all that. So that's perfect. Now, let me ask you this. Okay, I think we've covered all that, and we're about wrapping this up now. Um, Next year, will you be on a full contract
I sure hope so.
where you're at now?
I should be. Yeah, I think this is the last, this and the seminar is the last thing I have to do, and then submit everything to the Cal TPA stuff.
Okay, and you want to continue where you're at?
Yeah, I do. I like it.
You like it, huh?
Yeah.
And tell me what you like about where you teach. And by the way, where is it that you're teaching at?
In Ridgecrest, do you know where that is?
Yeah, up in the Central Valley, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've only lived here for about 3 years, and I never wanted to be a classroom teacher. I always wanted to do outdoor education because I didn't think teaching in a classroom would be very fun.
Uh-huh.
And then I went to sub because my kids started school, so I wanted to get into the school, so I offered to sub, and they hired me right away because they don't have enough teachers. So they hired me and they said, you can either teach kindergarten or middle school science. And I was like, oh my gosh, no way on earth. I don't want either one of those.
Yeah, yeah.
uh, but middle school science sounded more up my alley than kindergarten. So I thought I'd try it. And I actually really, really like it. I connect really well with the kids. They've given me 2 awards so far this year for I think it's my connection. The students vote for me and they think that I care about them, and I don't know. I really enjoy making the connections, and it's a super small town, so when I go to the store, I see my students and they are happy. They smile really big when they see me. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Well, I'm not surprised at all because everything you're doing, is what experienced teachers do, experienced great teachers, and you have all those characteristics. So um, that's what makes teaching fun as well. But it's also the best way to teach. So just keep it going. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear all that.
Yeah, I have kids too, and it breaks my heart when I hear that their teachers yell at them or they're grumpy, and it just makes learning not fun, and I don't want that for my students. So,
Not at all. And you keep it real positive and real solid, and the kids will remember that. They'll remember the bad things, the teachers do to them too. I can remember as a sophomore in high school raising my hand, and my teacher told me to put my arm down because I had BO.
oh geez.
And as a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old, I was crushed,
Oh
and
yeah, that sticks out.
yeah, yeah. So anyway, but just keep doing it. Keep doing what you're doing, and if you have any questions at all, reach out. As we wrap this up, is there any questions you want to throw back at me?
No, I think I'm okay.
Okay, awesome. Well, again, I'll work with you on timelines if you need them. And take advantage of every minute you have because those minutes add up and it gets things going. I would make lists of what you have to do each week and check them off, and anything that kind of takes the stress out of your head and puts it on paper and you can check it off
Right.
is a great
Right.
thing to do. So, all right, Christy, will you enjoy the rest of your Thursday?
Thank you. You too. Thanks so much.
All right, have a great one.
All right, you too.
Bye bye.
Bye.